On September 23rd, 2022, you know what? This is a very, very good example. Mercury is going to move into Virgo, the planet of the mind, and I noticed that something was sitting on the ground that should not be. Let's move it over there so that it's not a distraction. Because this is the energy that we're going to be moving into. Virgo, as we know, is all about the details, cleaning, cleansing, organizing, making a space that is, available, and it serves you with the work that you needed to get done. So, as we know, Mercury retrograde, all the rules for Mercury retrograde, and I think that the mainstream narrative kind of takes the astrology out of that. You need to implement and blend the astrology into those rules and why they are the way they are without making them dictatorial rules. Because, invasive literal astrology 101, Mercury retrograde, I don't think so. Because people have lives to live. And if something goes wrong during Mercury retrograde, why should they have to wait until it was direct? Why can't people just live their lives? Because, your life doesn't stop just because a planet is moving retrograde. And don't allow that to be an inconvenience. You have to make decisions and live your life and do what you need to do. You cannot let planetary influence get in the way of that. So Virgo is about the details. It really, it's the magnifying glass, really honing into this over here, that over there. All of these things that I see around me. And, what this actually reminds me of is I was seeing an episode of a show on Prime Video years ago. It's called Just Add Magic, where three girls have a magic cookbook where they, make spells, where the recipes have, magical spices and, spice families such as Livonian, Elysian, Lapsus, etc. And, and there's mysteries that they have to solve and, culprits that they have to sort of put in the courtroom, metaphorically speaking, and dish out, all that dirt. Not that they actually did that. But in one of the recipes that they were making, it was called, I believe it was called Chicken and Fix-Its. And what they were doing is, when they made this, when they ate it, they started to notice these problems with these objects in their house and just around them, in their environment, in their life, in their world, which included people that that needed fixing. And so there was this desire, this urge, this impulse, this need to go and fix it and to to clean it up and put the cogs back and put the parts together and do all of that. And that's very Virgo. Like, how can I change things? What needs changing? And Virgo is a mutable sign, so there is a distraction and definitely a need to fix something. This is a little bit of a stereotype, and I'm putting signs in boxes, so I just want to alert you to that right now. But maybe, just maybe, if you take a Virgo and you walk into a very messy kitchen with all the stuff and all the dishes not washed, the the refrigerator with so much stuff, wrinkled papers, and where it just clutters your mind, where you don't need all that, and just very, busy, disorganized, unpeaceful, space. And of course, as I'm making this video, tomorrow the moon will, September 23rd, um, you know, and 24th, the moon will be in Virgo and Sun in Libra. So feng shui and the beauty with the, you know, tidiness of your house becomes very, becomes something that is going to be fulfilling, is to clean up your house. And so the Virgo will probably go in and start doing their work, just because of the care, just because of the, the selfless, care to, improve other people's lives, and, for people to work smarter, not harder, um, and, service, kindness, giving, engaging with somebody, in a very practical way. Like, here's some advice. This is, what I'm suggesting. This is the new toothpaste that I think will help your teeth better. This is a new work strategy that I believe that you would greatly benefit from, and it would help you, and let me show you how it's done. So walk through the whole process and, sort it out. And then you may walk away, well, thank you for that. Or maybe on the downside, hurt, feeling less than, all those things, because Virgo at the low level can just find these, impurities, and then just something comes out at you that is, maybe at the extremes of hurtful criticism. I worked with someone who was, Virgo Sun and Venus and Virgo, Jupiter and Virgo, and he was very critical. And I'm not making that up. So Mercury retrograde, Mercury in R, Mercury in review, basically. What do you need to attend to that's not attended to yet? Where are you neglecting a certain focus, a certain area, a certain venue that may need some attention, some TLC, some, some fixing up? This could be, for me, I have certain things going on in my life, and certain projects and tasks that I need to get done, that I am really putting in the time and carving out that time to do. Although, my criticism to myself is I'm not putting in enough time, I'm not doing enough work, and in a slow and steady, sort of focused manner. And that's very, very important, to be aware of those things. It's like, if you were to, I thought I heard like a metaphor of, if you were to go on social media and then go, read sit down and read, a book, like a physical book, then maybe that's like taking, having Skittles before having a, glass of wine. I overheard somebody saying, I'm addicted to reading. And I thought that was such a general statement. It really was. My question is, in what form are you addicted? It could be through written posts online. But these types of things. So I find that I need to detach from certain things in order to get, work done, and have a plan, and have, discipline and commitment, to, for this to be successful and for the long term. Mercury retrograde's evaluation. Mercury retrograde is planning out for something, especially for, the long term. Saturn rules Capricorn, which is trying to the sign Virgo in general, astrology. And Saturn is very much about the long haul because it stays in a sign for about, two, 2.5 years time period. So, in what areas do you need to put in more work? It could be, your physical health. It could be your, working for your finances, working for your worth and your wealth and your money and your, going to a store and being a clerk, possibly speaking, and those kind of things. Are you, writing a novel or something, putting in more time with that? What about your family? What about, what, your children and what you want to do for fun? It's not just, work all the time and, all of that. Maybe there is that fun element that needs bringing into the mix as well. So that's you, then, that's true applies. Your marriage, shadow work, any kind of, broadening of horizons, and this is kind of general and specific, career, group, and, your inner world. I just basically just zoom through all 12 houses in astrology. What's not working? Where do you need to adjust? Maybe you have so many books on your shelf that, what, I don't need all this. So maybe I'm going to clean some of these things out and create a space where I have what I need and all that I need and want. What habits and ways of going about a certain task need changing? The South Node is in Taurus, and when I have found that when I have gone into something with full-on intensity and, committed and worked really hard and thought that, just keep going and keep, working. Work smarter, not harder. Do it in slow steps. Take your time. Enjoy the experience. Settle down so that you can attain the information more, gain more, learning through that experience, and so that you can do something the best way that you possibly can without the rush and without the pressure, but of course there's deadlines and stuff. So, how are you going to work around that? That's where Virgo comes into the picture, planning and prioritization. What can stay and what can go, and where do you need, keyword, need to put your attention? Because sometimes you may want to put your attention into things that may be more fun, more exhilarating, more, that you feel that you would find more enjoyment out of it. Sometimes you need to do the things you need to do, and it does take, work and dedication. So, where can you improve? What can you improve? Or need to put in more quality for this certain thing? Where does the eyes and, nose, those boxes need to be crossed off. And, are you being the best you can be, doing the best that you can do? And of course, on September 27th, when we have Mercury trining Pluto, this is really the invitation to, to get your detective on, in a way, going underground. If you think of Mercury, how you think, how you, synthesize and sort of perceive and take in the information, and Pluto is about what's true and going going to the bottom note of something and pulling up the truth of something in a way, pulling up the matter, the substance, the depth from that thing. What something actually is versus the material form of it versus the the content of the video that you're watching, besides what the person's wearing and how fancy the thumbnail actually is. Because we can all get caught up in the filters and all that with what's online, but it's true. Going past just the words and finding value in what do they actually mean, like what's the message that you're trying to get across. Is what you're saying true? Do you believe it? Is your whole mind, heart, kind of, you full on agree with it? You're set on it. You are really like this. That this makes sense. Are the words that you're saying or that you're intaking nourishing, soothing, gratifying, healing, therapeutic, really sustainable for you, and the lesson, not just the specifics, but the the wisdom from that knowledge, and what can I take with me? What can I hold on to from this experience to then future experiences? Where does it lie? Lying, obviously, go past the lying. Don't lie, anytime. Just, say what is true. Say the truth. Don't, honesty is the best policy. So, so that's what I want to focus on for that. And then we have, on, October the 1st, just a day before Mercury stations and then goes retrograde, we have Mercury opposite Neptune. We had this way back on August 20th. I had a video about that. August 21st, Mercury was opposite Neptune. And, the downside of Neptune is if you were to lie down in a bed, a hospital bed or your own bed, and sort of your mind is taken to another state of being where you don't realize the actual situation of what's going on. You don't realize that this has happened to you, and you, your bones are broken. That there has a procedure that has been done, and you're sort of taken away and lifted off. Like when you wake up, your sort of mind is kind of not it's kind of it's like being drunk, drinking to escape from the troubles of this world, and just being very giddy and up and wild and having a grand time and just feeling the joy from that kind of thing. And there's a confusion where you may I don't know, your mind hears something, doesn't listen to it, doesn't really take it in, doesn't resonate, doesn't register, maybe. You may not be as set in the practical manners of life. You may feel kind of laziness, kind of a tiredness, kind of, a wearing out. Like, I don't want to be, burdened with this. I don't want to be bothered with this. I just want to stay home and rest and renewal, when you may have a life to live, and getting out there and chopping wood, carry water, and attending to all these little things, and working for this company that you're working for. So Mercury in Virgo opposite Neptune in Pisces. Oppositions are more difficult aspects. So, nap time, permission to rest and recoup and go into your imagination, and, sort of, just let yourself sort of, zone out and go into the, social media, and kind of go into the altered state, and escape. But set a schedule, know when to pull yourself out of that, know when to come back to reality, and do what you need to do. And maybe you imagine something. I imagine a new idea of doing this. I imagine feeling like this, feeling, sad, or, like I'm lacking something, and maybe change something in your real life because of that feeling. Well, anyway, thank you for tuning in. Have a wonderful time with this Mercury retrograde in Virgo. And bye for now.